Hey guys, my name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. Before I get into the Smackdown review, I want to read this article for you guys really quick, because I feel like this is something that we should discuss really fast before we get into the Smackdown show. Usually I make these separate videos, but I don't feel it has enough time without any type of build towards it for me to actually have a legitimate thought about it. But I feel like if I talk about it now, at least within the context of what we have right now, this should be at least good enough for an intro. So check this out real quick. This is reported by Sports Illustrated, but it was also reported by the Wrestling Observer newsletter. So I don't know, take that for what you will. Whether he meant this as a tease, it was immediately taken that somewhere down the line that Heyman and Punk will end up together, which led to Reigns versus Punk speculation. The reality is that Reigns versus Punk would be the biggest match they could do. Sports Illustrated reported after Punk versus Rollins that direction is Reigns versus Punk. That is the obvious ultimate direction, so clear it's not even being hidden, but for right now, the plan is to take a lot of time before getting there. The feeling right now is that will be gigantic at the time they choose to get there. Whether it results in Heyman leaving Reigns for Punk and Punk going heel and Reigns face, that is a fucking terrible idea by the way, which was the speculation we got. There are multiple different ways to approach that. The key is to peak it timing-wise, although it will probably work big whenever it happens. But there are the risks. One major star who saw these situations said that they'd better get there within 6 months because of the injury risk or uncertainty with CM Punk. Which tells me there's a good solid chance that Punk and Reigns, which I was saying should happen most likely, this is just my opinion, barring any injury, I thought it should happen, 2025 WrestleMania. But with how they're talking right now, it kind of seems like they might be doing this match at Summerslam in 2024, which begs the question. Now, the way I'm reading this right now, you're going to do the match with Reigns versus CM Punk. Now, some may say to themselves, and I personally agree, you can do Reigns versus CM Punk without any championship on the line. But knowing WWE, you would think that they're going to probably put the belt on the line, right? Which, I got a question. So you look at this in two ways, guys. You let me know how you feel about this when talking about Reigns versus Punk. Because I'm trying to figure out how this is going to work. Either A, they're kind of giving away the finish at WrestleMania, and CM Punk is going to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Is that what I'm getting here? But if that's going to be the case, Roman is a SmackDown superstar. Well, you know what? I'll take this back. Okay, because what? SmackDown's going to come on USA, right? And Raw is going to be on FX. From what I'm hearing, that's the leading perception right now, that Raw is going to most likely be on FX. Now, that's not confirmed yet, but that's the leading news tidbit when discussing where Raw is going to land, because I think NXT is going to be on the CW network, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so I'm trying to put a 2-2 together. I'm looking at these two ways. Either CM Punk is going to win the WWE Championship and Roman Reigns is going to take on CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, and that's going to be their marquee match for Raw because it's going to be on FX, and FX is... But that's not broadcast, though. Is FX broadcast, or is that on cable? I can't even remember. I think it's on cable, though, isn't it? I could be mistaken. If they're both on cable, then this is an equal playing field. Because I was going to say, if it was on broadcast television, right, then I would think that CM Punk and Roman Reigns being on Raw for, a broadcast network, that make more sense because that's going to get the most eyeballs. But if they're both on cable, then that just leads me to believe, like, okay, so are they going to do a draft? Right? Is that what I'm getting here? They're going to do a draft, and either CM Punk is coming to SmackDown and he loses to Rollins, or is Roman going to Raw and he loses to Cody Rhodes, Or are they just gonna flat out both beat their competitors and it's gonna be a champion versus champion match and you're gonna unify the belts at SummerSlam? Just to kind of like add a little bit of a twist into it a little tiny bit. Why do I feel as if that's part of the direction they're gonna go into? Come back to this video in a couple of months, yo. Come back to this video in a couple of months, and if they were to say something along the lines of, because I'm gonna make a prediction, and again, you guys can let me know in the comments how you feel about this. My prediction is CM Punk is gonna beat Seth Rollins for the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Whether it happens at WrestleMania, I don't know. And for what it looks like, people are going to probably be like, I do not want this. And to be quite frank, I don't want this either. I have no problem with CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, just straight up one-on-one. But, I mean, God, is Roman going to beat Cody 2 WrestleManias in a row? That'd be fucking terrible. But I can't think of a better match to do than CM Punk versus, but then again, no, because they have the brand split. They're not going to get rid of the brand split, not with the 2 cable stations, right? So no, it's not going to be a unifying championship. Or maybe they could theoretically do that. Well, if they do that, then it's like you got to have Roman or CM Punk travel, and I can only presume that Punk's going to be a part-timer, right? Just like Roman Reigns. I could be wrong about that. Shit, that's a lot of ways you can go with this. I mean, okay, I'll probably make a prediction to say that they're just going to flat out do CM Punk versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. No titles on the line. But then how do you, I guess you can always do a draft and bring, again, yeah, Raw. Roman can come in a Raw, or CM Punk can go to Smackdown. And then you can have Randy and Cody leading Smackdown if Cody were to win the championship belt. Because it kind of seems like Randy's going to most likely land on Smackdown when it's all said and done. I don't know. You guys let me know down in the comment section below. This is a very, very unique situation right now. But let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, man. I just want to talk about that for a little bit. But with that being said, let's get into SmackDown. All right. Okay, relatively decent show so far. I'm actually more hyped up for like what's gonna happen in the main event, because now it looks like finally we can get back to business. No more women in the main event, because whenever the women are in the main event, all that tells me is that whatever's actually in the mid card is fucking abysmal. But when the women are in the mid card, at the very least, okay, it's tolerable. So thank God we have that. But there's a couple of things we could talk about. I mean, there's something that's somewhat newsworthy. I mean, you have the opener with Bianca Belair essentially challenging Io Sky for her women's championship, right? And you know, you had the women come out from Damage Control, absent being Bayley. You know, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but the girls from Damage Control come out and they get in the ring and they're about to jump Bianca Belair before we get Charlotte Flair and Shotzi Blackheart coming out to kind of even the odds, which they, I guess, technically did, because Dakota Kai can't wrestle and it's Asuka, Kairi, and Io, so I guess it kind of makes sense. And then they go backstage because, again, Bayley wasn't there, and Bayley was like, you guys never told me that you were going to go out there like that. And they were kind of like, well, you know, you kind of, well, no, I think they actually said, where were you? And Bayley said, you guys didn't tell me that you're going to go out there. So more dissension coming from Damage Control. Obviously that Bayley babyface turn is right there. We can clearly see. I am kind of curious though, when they do the Bayley face turn, is she going to go back to her original Peak Tails gimmick, like her hugger gimmick or whatnot? It's basic hugonomics, is that what she used to call it? Are they going to go back to that gimmick, or are they going to stick with this gimmick right here? I'm very curious as to where they're going to go with this, because this gimmick, it could work in a tweener role if they play their cards right. But you know, it's not that I'm too opposed from the hugger gimmick. You know, it was one of the true babyface gimmicks to actually get over it. Now granted, that was in NXT, but Triple H is in charge right now, so if it's anything like NXT, then you know, we'll see where it goes. Not to mention, you haven't seen this gimmick in like what, almost 5 years now, so you know, it has enough rest. So we'll talk about more. We will come back to that, you little shitheads. We'll come back to that later on tonight, okay? But also we had a match with Bobby Lashley versus Pete Dunne. The match in itself was kind of but what I did like was that finish. That finish was lit as fuck. Bobby speared Pete Dunne, and Pete Dunne, essentially, he hit a shooting star press. He hit just like an inside out moonsault. That shit was lit how he saw that. That was a dope ass finisher. And notice he kicked out of the power slam also. The power slam is Bobby Lashley's finish also. So, you know, that's pretty telling how they think about Pete Dunne right now. And yes, I'm calling him Pete Dunne because it seems like they're gonna I don't know, that's what it comes off to me as. Are they gonna revert back to that gimmick? You did had essentially Pete Dunne walk backstage and he And they were kind of playing up on commentary also saying that Butch was all by himself. There's no Ridge Holland. Sheamus is nowhere to be found, which is kind of weird because I did hear that he was on some of the live events, so I kind of thought he was going to come back tonight. I was expecting him to come back tonight, but maybe he might show up in a couple of weeks. I don't know. But he is back now, apparently, again. If you look at some of those live events that popped up on the news feed earlier this week, it said that he was good. So I don't know. Maybe they were wrong. I don't know. It's the news outlet, people. Of course. But he went backstage and he kind of met up with Pretty Daly, and Pretty Daly were talking shit, and they beat the crap out of him, and they're still playing up the fact that Butch, quote unquote, is all on his own. So, we can get back Pete Dunne. I'm all okay with that. I want to see Pete Dunne come back. I'm a big fan of Pete Dunne. Was in NXT. You guys know me. I love that style of wrestling. So anything to get him back, I'm perfectly fine with. Maybe he could wrestle in the United States Championship division. Maybe even get a United States Championship title shot in the next few months. First LA Knight, though. Get to him in LA. What's his name again? Scammer or us. Get to them first, and then we'll talk about Pete Dunne afterwards. Also, just to kind of, throw it out there, too, you did have a little bit of a conversation between Nick Aldis and Paul Heyman discussing Randy Orton's appearance for tonight. But again, we'll talk about that when Randy Orton comes up. But with that being said, you got Joaquin Wilde out there taking on Mexican Roman Reigns. Seriously, is it just me, or does Santos Escobar looks like a old school Mexican Roman Reigns? Maybe it's just me. It is not just me. Pay attention to what the fuck you watch in your wrestling, okay? I'm not your goddamn protectors, stupid bastards. By the way, Joaquin Wilde's like almost 40 years old. He looks good for a 40-year-old man. Pause. I never really considered this matchup, but you know what? Seeing how they were actually going back and forth on the microphone tonight, I can fuck with that match. Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble for the United States Championship. Yeah, I can definitely fuck with that match. Eventually, because it's super fucking obvious. It's gonna be LA Knight and Logan Paul at WrestleMania. So this is a nice way to kind of tread water a little bit before you actually get there. And I'm not the world's biggest Kevin Owens fan. I'm not gonna hide it. I don't like his moveset. I don't like him using the Stone Cold Stunner. I don't like his attire. I don't like his size. Everything about Kevin Owens I just don't like. But if he's actually gonna carry himself in a non-cringe manner like he did tonight, going back and forth with Logan Paul on the microphone the minute that he did, I'm okay with that. I could fuck with that. I could really fuck with that match. So Logan Paul and Kevin Owens did go back and forth from the microphone. Logan Paul came out. He talked about him having a conversation with Nick Aldis. And let me see if I can pull this up really, really quick. Because apparently they're going to have a tournament, which obviously Kevin Owens is going to win. But they have a tournament that's going to come up the next upcoming weeks for Smackdown. I wish they didn't do stuff like this also. One, because the tournament concept's already being done by AEW. And it's like, I know, technically it's like, okay, well, AEW's doing it. Why does that mean WWE shouldn't do it? Well, I guess I wouldn't be too opposed to it if it wasn't so damn obvious given the storyline that they're doing right now that it's going to be Kevin Owens. If you're going to go down that path, then don't bother having a tournament. It seems kind of fucking lazy when it comes to the booking. Just let Kevin Owens and, Logan Paul have an actual story. I know people are going to probably be like, well, Devontae, you understand that the Royal Rumble is nearly 2 months away, right? Yeah, okay, so, and your point? Get creative with the storyline. You don't have to have a fucking tournament, but it is what it is. It's going to happen regardless. The participants in the tournament is going to be Santos Escobar. It's going to be Bobby Lashley. It's going to be Dragon Lee, Karrion Kross, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, as I mentioned before, Kevin Owens, and a random NXT superstar. I really don't give a shit who the random NXT superstar is going to be, but, I'm going to... Okay, if I had to think about it, I don't really know anybody off NXT roster. I'm going to say Trick Williams. There you go. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. I'm going to say Trick Williams, though. But, whoever's going to actually fill that spot is going to be a nice little showing for them in the tournament. At the very least, I'm pretty sure WWE's putting them there for a reason. Kind of spice up the roster a little tiny bit, get people on that roster, kind of build it up a little tiny bit as we continue going on in 2024. I'm not opposed to that idea whatsoever. Now, again, I'm still thinking that maybe they should just, focus on storytelling for the next 2 months with Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. But if they feel this is the path they have to go down for the next couple of weeks just to get into the Royal Rumble season in itself, going into January, and then building off of it, it is what it is. I just don't like this concept because AEW is already doing a tournament. I'm kind of sick and tired of seeing fucking tournaments. Speaking of tournament participants, though, two of the people who are in this match, Dragon Lee and Santos Escobar, had a little bit of a crosshair. Santos Escobar, he got rid of Joaquin Wild, beat the shit out of him, won this match. And Dragon Lee came out. You know, they have a match in Survivor Series. Hopefully they have another. Yeah, they will have another match again, and the match could be a lot better than the Survivor Series match. Maybe they might show off in this tournament. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who do I feel is gonna come down to in regards to the finalists? I'm pretty sure it's gonna probably come down to Bobby Lashley and Kevin Owens, and you know, maybe that might be a good match. Who knows? We'll see. But as long as we get Kevin Owens and Logan Paul at the Royal Rumble, it's all good in the hood, boyo. But with that being said, we got Bourne Waller versus Kevin Owens in the ring. I don't really feel the need to want to talk about this unless Logan Paul's going to do something, and then I'll talk about it in the next segment. But with that being said, I'm not going to review this dumbass match. I mean, I really do not care at all for either competitors right now in this match. I'm actually kind of happy for Kevin Owens, because at least now he gets to get away from this shitty-ass feud with Grayson Waller and Austin. I was once a somebody theory, crackhead. With that being said, let's continue on with the show. Every fucking match, every single damn women's match. Say whatever you want about how I'm a misogynist. You're such a misogynist. Devontae, you're such a misogynist. You're a sexist misogynist. What's wrong with you? You're such a... Fuck you, dude. Come on. Did you seen the same match that I seen, okay? Between the awkwardness, the pauses, not knowing what the fuck to do, the spots... Bro, Bianca Belair, and it's not just Bianca, it's all the women. They're so fucking cringe with their fucking loud-ass spot calling. And they call this the main event. Holy shit, imagine if this was the fucking main event. Bianca Belair for loud ass. She's sexy as fuck, by the way, still. Don't give a fuck. But goddamn, her loud ass sitting there, move. Like, shit, shut up. And it's not just her. It's Charlotte. It's Becky. It's all the fucking women. And you said this was going to be the main event. Thank God this wasn't the fucking main event. Holy shit. Holy fuck, dude. The amount of fucking... It wasn't even like they botched anything in particular. It was just like the loud-ass fucking spot calling, bro. Motherfucker had me over here singing the fucking Beatles, bro. It's the boss that ever left. It's the boss that ever lasts. They let me down. They let me down. They let me down. Fuck you guys. I hate you all. Fuck you. Die. Seriously, though. Holy fuck. And then you had something else with CM Punk, and they're like, CM Punk's going to show up to the tribute of the troops. What? I don't... Getting triggered right now. Getting triggered. That women's match, and everything was going so well for tonight. Smackdown was actually pretty decent. This was a good show, and then this match had to be a fucking blemish on it. The only good thing that came out of it is the fact that now Bayley's hopefully getting her flowers, because clearly that's the path they're going to go down towards, right? Bayley came out after being told to stay backstage between the mean girl fucking squad over there called Damage Control, and Bayley has a sad look on her face, and she has the kind of look on her face that really makes me believe whether or not... I'm starting to contemplate, is she really gonna go back to the hugger gimmick now? And people can sit back, but oh, Devontae, you're why you're glazing Bayley for? First, I would love to glaze Bayley in a very physical manner, by the way. But I mean, like, I like Bayley. I've always been a big fan of Bayley. I like her fundamentals. She's one of the many women, or excuse me, many, fucking many. She's one of the only women who don't actually go out of their way to do complicated bullshit spots. She's basic in her fundamentals. Her promos are always decent. Could be cringy sometimes, but decent. I like Bayley. Not to mention, I appreciate really solid work ethic that coincides with good storytelling to give you a reason to want to actually put her in the underdog storytelling or storyline or whatever. I don't even call this an underdog storyline. This is more like a victimization storyline. You know, she's being ousted by her own group where she's actually trying her best to keep them held together. She's the glue that's holding them together. Well, not really. I guess she wouldn't be the glue. I guess, yeah, in terms of wins and losses. I mean, even this match right here from a story kayfabe standpoint, because, you know, Kairi Sane's a dumbass, and Becky actually did, or Bayley did help her out. She came out and she pulled Bianca Belair's braid down, and all Kairi had to do was get on the fucking turnbuckle and hit the fucking elbow drop, and she's like, domo arigato, high five, Mr. Ribato, and she gets her slant eye ass on top of the turnbuckle, and what happens? Bianca Belair captures her, hits the KOD, and she wins. You can't blame that on Bayley from a kayfabe standpoint. That was all on your dumbass, Mr. Miyagi. Holy shit. But yeah, with that being said, let's stop talking about that match. That match made me sad. Let's talk about Randy Orton, who's about to show up on my TV screen right now, and, you know, that's going to be awesome, so let's do that right now. So I'm going to make this a new segment where, because unfortunately, I feel like this is a nice way to get around the whole short situation also. Unfortunately, because of a situation with WWE and AEW constantly taking down my videos, you know, I'm kind of copying a little bit. I don't know if you guys remember the, I forgot the guy's name. I forgot the channel's name, back in the days in mid 2017, 2018, and he would take like excerpts from Steven Larson or Solomonster, or like Brian Zane, I think he even took some stuff from, or forgot the guy's name, Good Mic Work, and he'll like highlight some of their talking points in their videos. It was a pretty gnarly channel. They had a pretty decent following. And you know, I think Good Mic Work does it nowadays too. He calls it a mic drop, and Solomonster does it throughout his podcast for Sundays, and he like does it throughout the week. I want to do that for my channel too, to kind of get around the shorts where I talk about one excerpt coming out of Raw and Smackdown, you know, the highlight of the video in itself. So you're gonna hear this in the review portion, but the actual portion, I'm gonna actually cut it right here, and you'll hear the actual talking point in itself. But both of them are going to be inside the main show. So one's going to be in the main show, one's going to be an actual little snippet. Randy Orton RKO's Nick Aldis. So the whole promo started off with Randy Orton coming out to the ring, which, you know, it was pretty cool to have. And I kind of like that. I want to see more of that. I want to see more of the GMs kind of arguing back and forth. I feel that's an actual pretty cool concept. They were doing that with Stephanie and Eric Bischoff back in the days also, and Eric Bischoff and Teddy Long for a little bit, but it was more so with, you know, Stephanie and Eric for like the first couple of months when the brand split was actually initiated, and like they were kind of fighting over draft picks and stuff like that. I want to see more of that. But if you're gonna do more of that, also you have to, you know, make the brand split a legitimate thing. If you can't do that, then don't even bother having these arguments with the GMs and whatnot. But they came out and they were kind of fighting and vying for Randy Orton to kind of sign for their company, sign for their brand, if you will. Which, by the way, I actually read on the news, you know, some of the wrestling news websites. I heard that Adam Pearce, his actual position that you see on television with him being the GM, that's actually exactly what he does in real life. That GM thing, you know, his GM position for Raw is an actual shoot. He's a producer, but his producer roles are very akin to what you see on television. Apparently, that's what I heard. Somewhere on some wrestling news website. Who cares? You guys aren't here to hear that. What you are here to hear is what happened during this whole promo segment. So you had Paul Heyman come out. He's exclaiming about, you know, him, you know, Randy Orton should sign with Raw because he doesn't want to deal with the bloodline, which is stupid because why even do that? You would think at this point that some of the heels and baby faces will kind of learn before going out of their way to put themselves in the position to kind of, you know, and they do this all the time. People say, I know I heard Solomonster say dumb babyface syndrome, but what about dumb heel syndrome, right? When you put yourselves into a position to make the babyface actually come after you, why do that? You didn't have to do that. You could have let Randy Orton sit there, and maybe he still would have picked, you know, Roman Reigns, because maybe he would have thought to himself, well, Roman is an actual star, so why the hell would I not go with Roman Reigns? You know, he's the one with the real championship belt. Why would I go with the secondary championship belt and Seth Rollins? Maybe he would have said that, or maybe he would have said, hey man, my back hurts, I'm already on Raw, I'm used to it, maybe I just want to sit back and chill on Raw because, hey, I might have an easier time beating someone like a Seth Rollins versus beating someone like a Roman Reigns. Who knows? But you took that championship, or that championship botch, you took that chance away from him when you came out here and essentially kind of picked the fight with him and kind of like, you know, hey, you're gonna come and you're gonna actually do what I want you to do on it. Essentially, that's what you kind of did. You know, you kind of did that, Paul. And what happened? The rest of the Bloodline came out, which is a tag team essentially. He disposed of Solo Sikoa. He disposed, well, actually, he kind of got jumped a little bit, and then LA Knight came out to help him out. So there you go for your future tag team match. Probably next week at that tribute of the Cheap Show. Eventually, he took Jimmy Uso, hit him with a, you know, draping DDT, and he disposed of him, hit him with an RKO, and then he had both of the contracts in his hand. He asked for the contracts from Nick Aldis. He asked for a contract from Adam Pearce. He kind of weighed his options, which was obviously what he was going to do. Threw the Raw contract out of the ring, and then he signed the freaking Smackdown contract, which is awesome. Yay! Throw babies up in the air. Don't throw your babies up in the air. Don't do that. I don't know. Why is that even a figure of speech? That's so stupid. Like, why would you throw your babies up in the air? You're gonna kill. Whatever. Okay, whatever. What if a plane comes? Okay, whatever. Stop, Devontae. Eventually, Nick Aldis comes in the ring and he's like, yeah, yeah, we got him. Yeah, we got him. He's the best. Yeah. Yes, we got him, King. Yes. Yo, Randy, come here. Let me raise your arm. Like, yes. And he raises Randy Orton's arm up. He's like, yes. And then Randy Orton's like, yes. RKO, dumbass nigga. And he hits someone for an RKO, and he lays out Adam Pearce. No, wait, Nick Aldis. No, wait, Eric Bischoff. No, I said it right the first time. It was Nick Aldis, which makes me think to myself a little bit of a theory. I have a theory. Is there going to be like a little bit of a dispute with Nick Aldis? You know, is it going to have a little bit of a heel turn for Nick Aldis? Is Nick Aldis going to be the kind of person that's going to screw over Randy Orton? Because you kind of need a baby face and a heel thing going on with these general managers. Kind of akin to, you know, like an Eric Bischoff and a Stephanie McMahon. Is Nick Aldis going to make Randy Orton's life a living hell? Will we get Nick Aldis versus Randy Orton in the future? I don't know, but this is a nice way to start it off, and I'm very curious as to what the path is going to be going forward with all this, because Nick Aldis can also be a guy who can line up with the bloodline. Let me kind of throw a little bit of caveats your way. You scratch my back, I scratch your back type of deal. Who knows? But if you want to hear the rest of the review, come back to the show. Overall, though, I will say that this was eventful. I think that's the best way to actually conclude the Smackdown. It was an eventful Smackdown. I don't feel like you know, it was better than last week's. I don't think so. I thought Smackdown last week was a lot better than today's show, but it still does take away from the fact that, you know, a couple of eventful things happen tonight. Is you get the, you know, the progression of Bayley. You start in the setup Logan Paul and Kevin Owens. Obviously, you're gonna do your stuff with Randy Orton and Roman Reigns and the Bloodline, and that's starting to cook up a little tiny bit. You know, hopefully we can get some more interaction with the GMs, because that's really what I want to see also. That's how you add an element of, you know, debauchery and awesomeness. No, I'm joking. You know, but you do kind of like make the shows a lot more interesting when you have the GMs kind of, you know, attacking each other and doing what they're doing as on-screen authority figures. So I want to see more of that. That's what's up. That's what I like to see. I like that. I like that. You like that, and I like that. But still, nah, this week better. Goddamn cars! Sorry. So this week better than SmackDown last week? Nah. But that's not to say that this week by far wasn't the best show of the week, for sure. If we're talking about SmackDown, we're talking about Dynamite, and we're talking about Raw, this week absolutely annihilates all that bullshit, and it's not even fucking close. But yeah, that's about it. Hey, how'd you guys like the snippet stuff also, right? I'm finna call it snippet. I'll have a specific type of thumbnail for it. The thumbnail tonight for it was really lazy because I had to get it out there. But I'm gonna do that from now on out. Whenever I review my shows, whether it's pay-per-views or the actual shows, I'll take an excerpt out of the reviews and then I'll post it as its own singular video while still being in the reviews. Again, I'm gonna rip off all the other commentators. I gotta get my name out there, right? Yeah, boy. With that being said, my name is Devontae. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Did you enjoy tonight's show? How did you feel about tonight's show? How do you feel about CM Punk showing up next week? How do you feel about CM Punk and Roman Reigns in the news heading into SummerSlam? How do you feel about Kevin Owens and Logan Paul? How do you feel about Bayley eventually turning back, being the babyface again? How do you feel about all this stuff happening with the Usos and the Bloodline and the LA Knight? And more importantly, how do you feel about Randy Orton going into the Royal Rumble to eventually take on Roman Reigns? Because it's pretty damn apparent where they're going with this. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you motherfuckers later. Deuces, P. I had a cancer.